Okay, hi there, it's Kim Willis and welcome to lesson 3 in the challenge series. 10 leads in 7 days. Okay, enough of the frivolity. Let's get started. This one is called Potent Content Strategy. So by now you should have your first few leads, okay? Which some people call members. All right, so you've added members to your group. Great. They're leads, you know. They're leads. They are. They may not be hot leads or warm leads. They may be a little bit on the lukewarm side or even a little bit on the chilly side, but they're still leads. You know stuff about them. You've already had a brief conversation with them, and they're showing interest. They have a hot button, they have a pain point, and they have an interest in your group because you may be able to give them something that they're looking for, a solution. Okay, so what we want to do now is take it a little bit to the next level. So it's easy to get some leads flowing with this approach by just tapping into your friends list, okay, your Facebook friends list. But you will run out of those friends sooner or later, and if you've only got a small list to start with, it's probably going to be sooner. Okay, so what we've got to do is we've got to, or what you've got to do is you've got to position yourself at a higher level, and we're going to start to, starting to show you some attraction marketing concepts so that you can over time you can start to attract people to you. So not all of the people that you have as friends right now are going to join your group because they don't see you as being an authority. They maybe they don't have a lot of you don't have a lot of credibility. Maybe they don't respect you that much. So what we want to do now is we want to certainly keep using that method that I've taught you, but I'm thinking beyond the 7-day period. What are you going to do when you run out of some of the low-hanging fruit, okay? So what we want to do is we want to start using attraction marketing techniques, and the internet is all about content. It's all about content. I don't care what anybody else tells you. They're wrong. It's all about content. So if that is the game that we have to play, well, we're just going to have to play it. And even if you don't feel comfortable about creating content, work through the issue, and chances are soon enough you will feel comfortable about it, because anybody can do it. I've got people that have never created a piece of content in their lives doing it after a couple of weeks, sometimes much sooner than a couple of weeks. Okay, content is the name of the game, and if you want success online, you're going to have to embrace this content creation strategy. All right, so with the text version of this lesson, there's some valuable information there. I'm not going to read through all of it. I'm not going to read through any of it, actually. Just have a look at a few of the titles here. But as you can see there, your bedrock is great content. So how do we create great content? Well, you can look at what others are doing. That's one way to do it for sure. I mean that's the most obvious thing to do, and that's how I learned. I looked at what others were doing, but even before then, actually, I became a student of marketing, and I looked at what some of the great marketers were doing. I wasn't just looking at my peer group. I was looking at some of the legends in the industry and seeing how they were creating content. Now, don't let this sound onerous. It's not, because we're only talking about a little Facebook post. We're not talking about a blog post or having you write a book, an ebook or something like that, or a 10-page report. No, you're going to write a blog post which might be 1 or 2 paragraphs in length. How hard is that? The other way to do it is to start creating video content. So you can use Facebook Live, or you can record videos in advance and then load them up to Facebook. You can load them up to your group, but if you're wanting to also generate leads for your group, you'd be wanting to load those videos to your personal profile as well, because your personal profile is kind of like a hub. Okay, so the more friends you've got coming in, more people you've got as friends, particularly if they're niche-specific friends, the more likely it is that they're going to see some of this attraction marketing content, and they're going to respond, they're going to lean forward, and they're going to say, yeah, I'm interested, and then you add them to your group because they've said, yes, they're interested in the concept. So content can be a great lead creator in its own right. So imagine that. To me, that's fantastic that you can write a piece of content, a little promotional piece, post it on your Facebook wall, and you'll get members for your group. Take the concept a bit further, you write another piece of promotional content and you post it in your group, and you'll get leads for whatever it is that you're promoting. Okay, so two-step process. We need leads for people to join the group, but once we've got people in the group, we want to convert some of those people into leads for our primary offer, your primary offer, whatever that happens to be. All right, so there's two types of leads we're wanting to create here. So we're wanting those initial leads, that is members for your group, but then we're wanting to move some of those people to the higher level, so they become what we might call warm leads. Okay, so we create a different type of post, So that's basically the concept. So it's attraction marketing, attracting people to you like bees to a honeypot. That's a good analogy, I think. That's what we want. So we want people to lean forward. It's much better if they approach us. Initially, okay, you're approaching them because you want to get off to a fast start, and that's really important. That's how I did it. I approached people, and I continue to approach people. But after a period of time had elapsed, this is after I started my first proper group in 2016. After a period of time had elapsed, it dawned on me that I could make it easier for myself by becoming better at creating promotional type content, because I like the idea of having people approach me, right? And there's great leverage with that because I only have to write that post once and publish it on my wall and or my group, get a response from multiple people. That post is going to be seen by numerous people in your group. They're going to see that content. You're leveraging yourself, aren't you? You only have to create the content once. And here's something else that I've learned. If a particular type of promotional post works today, chances are that same post is going to work in a month or 6 weeks' time. You understand? So you can recycle these posts. And I've got posts that I wrote a year ago that I'm still using today, and they're still pulling in leads. It's fantastic, isn't it? Fantastic. And it's not costing us anything. So when somebody says to you, oh, this organic stuff is time consuming. Really? Really? Compared to what? Compared to what? Running Facebook ads? Facebook ads is incredibly time consuming. It's incredibly time consuming. This is a walk in the park by comparison. It's much simpler too. It's much simpler. So, yeah, so I've got some good headings here that you want to have a look at. Talk a little bit more about target marketing, because if you're going to go down the content creation pathway, you have to be acutely aware of the needs of your target audience. So I do spend a little bit of time on target marketing with this lesson because it's important. So you need to be clear about the pain points and the hot buttons, the aspirations. What keeps the aspirations of your target market? What keeps them awake at night? What is a typical demographic? What's the age group that you're targeting? What's a typical occupation? What sort of income range would these people be experiencing or enjoying? Lots of little things like that. Are they homeowners? What areas do they live in? Do they live in first world countries, second world countries, developing countries? What is it gonna be? Can you narrow it down to specific countries? Right? So US, Canada, Australia, UK, New Zealand, English-speaking countries. So define it. Define the age range. Define the age range. So if you're targeting, let's say, more mature people over 50 years of age, well, you'll need to tailor your messaging to suit that demographic, won't you? So what you want is for people to read a piece of content from you and to think, wow, he's speaking my language. He hits the spot. It's like he's talking directly to me. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So, so dynamic content strategy or potent content strategy is about matching message to market. Message to market. And it'll take a little bit of practice for sure, but hopefully it'll be a fun experience. I like creating content. I don't mince around on that one. I don't waste any time declaring my love for it. I do enjoy creating content. I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to turn you on to the love affair, turn you on to the point where you're having a love affair with words and creating content. In fact, I created a little course last year called Adventures with Words, and people who watched those trainings, they did get excited about the concept of words and how to use them to persuade people, right? So it can be very powerful. So I hope I can turn you on to this content creation way of doing things. It's an imperative. It's an imperative that you embrace it. All right, so let's have a quick look down here. Profile of your ideal prospect. You can see some of the points that I'm making now. What are the pain points and hot buttons of my target audience? Yes, definitely. That's a real big topic. Above all, be helpful. So most of the time, the content that you want to create is going to be helpful content, useful content, valuable content, okay? Resist the temptation to pitch and sell every time you create a piece of content, because nothing will turn people off more than that. And it'll turn them off fast, okay? So this is a seduction process. This is more about farming than it is about hunting. So get your hunter's hat and throw it into the bin for now. You can retrieve it later. Okay, so put your gun to one side there. We're going to be using the farming way of doing things. Cultivating the soil, preparing the soil, nurturing the seeds that you've just planted, the seedlings, etc. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You've got to do that. You've got to be more patient. But the amazing thing is that it doesn't take that long before it starts to work. It doesn't. You will start to notice people commenting and liking your content within 2 weeks, typically, as long as the content's good. As long as the content is good. So, yeah, that's enough about that for now. Be helpful. KLT factor, know, like, and trust. You've probably heard that before. You may have heard me talking about it before. Know, like, and trust. That's critically important that we understand that. I don't want to keep harping on it, but just a reminder how important it is. So we've got to build trust. Remember, the internet is a low trust environment. So that's why it's even more imperative that we wear our farmer's hat. It's perhaps not quite as imperative in the offline world, because it's easy to establish trust in the offline world. Shake someone's hand, look them in the eye. Okay, that helps, doesn't it? That definitely helps. Well, we have to take a more circuitous route to get to that point where they trust us online. Okay, so it just requires a bit of patience. A bit of patience. Settle down, slow down, and just have a bit of patience with people. It does work, and you'll find that it'll compound. There's a little bit of a snowballing effect that will work in your favor if you just hang in here for a few months. What else? Yeah. So you can read through that. I talk, just to re-emphasize why the Facebook group strategy is so important, talk about what problems are you solving. I just want you to start thinking about this topic. And then you can look at what other people are doing, you can take content ideas from them, repackage them as your own, or if you don't want to repackage them, you can just repurpose them. You can just give them credit. So you're just sharing their content. But sooner or later you're going to want to create your own. So best thing to do is to look at what other people are doing, get some good ideas and repackage them. 2 paragraphs of text is probably all you need for a typical Facebook post. Should not take you any more than 20 minutes. Okay? And once again, if you get a good response from that particular post, whether it's a promotional post or it's a pure value-adding post, you are going to find that you'll be able to recycle those posts in 3 months' time because people will forget all about them. Okay? So it's not like you always have to be creating new content. No, you don't. So what you want to do is you want to build up a bank of posts that you've used in the past, got a good response, and then recycle them every 3 months or something like that. Okay? And of course, you can still add new ideas, create new posts every week, but after a few months, you won't need to do as much of it because you've already got a bank of content posts that you've built up. All right, so let's just finish off by going over here to my Facebook. Go to my wall. Load it up. There it is there. Okay. Now, I was a little bit busy today, so I posted a bit more than I normally do, but not much more. I normally post minimum of 3 posts a day. Today I think I did a bit more. There was some heavy-duty content there, so there was a video, but here's one here that got a few likes. You know, didn't only got 1 comment, no problem. This one down here that got more. Got another one down here that it got like 4 or 5 comments. Picture quote got 1. The Kimbo Daily did well with this one, or better with this one. A little bit of humour there. See how I'm mixing it up. Now with your group, you don't necessarily need to be doing stuff like this. This is my personal wall, so you know, I put humorous stuff there. I put social content there as well, because it's not just about business. And notice that there are no links. There are no links to any posts, or to sales pages, capture pages, or anything like that. If I'm wanting to generate a lead, I will ask for them to say yes, make a comment. Haven't done much in the way of promotional posts on my personal wall this week. I don't think I've posted any, but because I don't really need more leads at the moment. I just, sometimes I just don't do anything for a week or sometimes more. Here's another one here. How many got a few comments? See, that's what you're wanting. That's what you're wanting to do. Now there are ways to get a lot more comments. One of the easiest ways is to ask a question. That usually works pretty well. This one here got a pretty good response. So yeah, ask a question. So sometimes if I'm finding my engagement rates are trending downwards on the low side, I'll just drop a question in, and that'll get everything moving up again. Okay, but you'll notice that with a lot of the comments that I get, they tend to be I tend to get a reasonable percentage of people making thoughtful comments, so that's good. So it's not just quantity of the comments, but it's the quality. It means that people are really paying attention. It means that they're really following what I'm doing and what I'm saying. Okay, so that's good. So I've got quite a lot of comments there. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Had a life all of its own. All right, took on a life all of its own. Okay, let me take you back to the page, the blog page. There it is there, potent content strategy. Have a good look at that, and we look forward to seeing you for lesson 4. Lesson 4. What's that about? Stay tuned. Okay, this is Kim Willis. Bye for now.